Oh boy, y'all. Oh, funny. Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shemel Shah, Brother Thumb, Yahweh Shemel Thumb, Shemel Shah, and Priest and Officer 5,000 that die holding it down till 12. Shield General Mahayaman gets here. General Mahayaman will be here shortly. Make sure you type your questions into the chat. Type your questions into the chat. Understand something. As Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, it is really time for us to come out of this world. Because, brother, kind of, y'all, it's rough out there in the world, man. It's rough out there in the world. I don't understand it. Because when you come up in this truth, man, you really get to understand that you really escaped death by coming up in here. You really did. And I applaud every brother and sister that come to class, that watch class online, and that do what they are supposed to do. You know what I mean? Because it's time for us to separate from this oppressor. As a matter of fact, Connie, can I get that? Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26? I appreciate you. Let me get the book of Leviticus, the 20th chapter, and the 26th verse.
The book of Leviticus, 20th chapter, 22nd verse.
26, warrior.
26, and ye shall be holy unto me.
The Lord said, ye shall be holy unto me. Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman, we are supposed to be holy unto our God. Holy. You know what the word holy means? It means to be separate or set apart. That's what it means to be holy. Our God is telling us that we should be separate, set apart. Even when you look at the Bible is called what? The Holy Bible. We should be separate. Keep going.
For I, the Lord, am holy.
For I, the Lord, am holy. Meaning the Most High is holy. The Most High is set apart. The Most High separated us from the oppressor, from these other nations. See, our problem is we get caught up in the oppressor's world and try to, it's like we don't get no validation unless it's by the oppressor. I know a lot of you knew this weekend the Grammys went on. And the only way for a Black or Latino to get validation in the music world is to win a Grammy. I know Kendrick went out there and clean house, 5 Grammys. They not like us. You know what's heavy about that? The only way for us to feel validation is to get validation from the oppressor. Whatever happened to the Black award shows, the Latino award shows? Why do you have to look towards the oppressor who runs the music industry now? How is it so that he can run this music industry? We should be separate because our God is separate. Nothing wrong with making music. I may not like the particular type of music that some of y'all make because I really don't like it. I think y'all should stop. Y'all know exactly who y'all are. But you know, that's just me. You know what I mean? That's just me. But if you want to make music, go ahead. If you want to play sports, go ahead. But what do we need the oppressor for to do so? We don't. We don't need the oppressor to play basketball, to play football, to sing or dance or do whatever. And that's such on a deep level going until what they were talking about with Trump pulling back the DEI. What's so heavy about that is you're ready to boycott Target. I'm like, oh, they're trying to get Black products out of there. Maybe we never should have been supporting Target. Maybe we never should have been supporting Walmart and all these other establishments. How about we build up our own businesses, our own sports leagues, have our own music industry? Our God is telling us to be separate because he is separate, separating ourselves from the oppressor's culture and way of life. And more importantly, coming back to what our God said to do in being separate, in keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, and having faith in our King Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Right. By coming into the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge. Read on.
And I have severed you from other people.
And I have what?
Severed you from other people.
And I have severed you from other people. You know what it should be, Akaniya? Like back when a long time ago, BET used to be black. Owned by Bob Johnson before he sold it on to the oppressor. We're supposed to have our own award shows and everything. And when the oppressor tried to come in with his cameras and his media, we stopped at the door like, hold on, Lisa. This ain't for you. No, you could tune in to channel 17 and watch, but you can't come up in it. This ain't none of y'all nominated. This is for us. This ain't for y'all. I find it absolutely insane that we look to them for validation for everything. Every award show, you know what I mean, trying to get the best honors of whatever profession that is, you're trying to get it from the oppressor. When we are better than them. Our God said so. I buy a whole Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. Our God severed us from other people, meaning we should be separate. We shouldn't even want to participate with the oppressor in any of his endeavors because they need us in all of them. What people don't realize is when you go back and go as far back into the early 20s and 30s when the Negro League was thriving, you know what I mean, the Black Baseball League. The oppressor wanted to destroy that because he saw that as competition. Not only were the brothers better than the oppressor in the MLB, we also were making money within our communities. Imagine if we would have held tight to that. Imagine if Jackie Robinson and Satchel Paige, the legends of the Negro League, would have said, you know what, we don't need to go play in the MLB. We good over here playing amongst ourselves. Y'all, I seen y'all. Y'all ain't no real competition. You can't play with us. Y'all need us. Nah, we're gonna stay here and build our economy up. Right. Keep our schools and hospitals and businesses going. That's what should happen. When our God said he severed us from other people, that what? Read?
That you should be mine.
That ye should be mine, because we don't belong to the oppressor. We look foolish sitting up in that Christian church worshiping a white Jesus. You look foolish in that Muslim mosque worshiping Muhammad. I know brothers I bod that are Hindu and some that are Buddhist. How did you get to where you're worshiping Shiva and Buddha? Is beyond me. But that's in the scriptures, that you would serve gods made of wood and stone. This is something that we should not be doing, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. Those other gods are the figment of the oppressor and these other nations' imagination. But the Most High God of Israel, he's one God. Shema Yasha Allah Yahweh Allahayana Yahweh Akkad. Our God is one, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. And he told us that we should have no other gods before him. Understand that for a second. Being separate, look at what is done for other nations. Chinatown is thriving with Moab. Bollywood is thriving with the East Indians, Elam. Little Italy out there with the oppressor, Edom, Esau, thriving. We could too. Imagine if we did so in righteousness. Right. Imagine if we did so where we didn't follow after the oppressor's game plan. And we decided to support Black and Latino business, man. Supporting the Native American Indian business and families and cutting Esau out. Cutting him out and doing it righteously. That's why what we do here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is paramount. And the Lord is in this place. You ain't in your fake Israelite group, you ain't in your Christian church, you ain't in your Muslim mosque. You have to get down with the ISUPK or the Commander General Yohana if you want to see real change. Everybody else is talking. They talking a good game. Listen, Umar Johnson talks an amazing, hilarious game. Black Queens Forever, Snow Bunny, yeah. But here's the problem with them, y'all. Where do you think that money going to? That money is going to him. It's going to him. What do you think that money is going to in your so-called conscious community? It ain't going back to the people. Your tithes, which you should be paying by law to the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge by God's law, leave it or not. That feeds and helps the nation. That feeds and helps the nation, man. Manager Yohana, the ISUPK, takes care of many brothers and sisters outside of the truth.
That's right.
Understand that. Now imagine if you stop being selfish and put your tithes where it's supposed to be. Talk about you want to help Black businesses and establishments, that you really want to fight against the oppressor. We went to a rally in New York for the brother that was unalived in that prison, man. Big shout out to Captain of 10,000 of Zaniah, man. Big shout out to Captain of 10,000 of Zaniah, man. My big brother. And it was so important, man, and what I noticed. Yeah, for the brother Robert Brooks. Well, nobody speak out against the oppression that befalls our brothers and sisters, man, except for the ISUPK.
That's right.
Except for the UPK. Everybody else out there was just talking a good nothing. Well, Captain Azania was out there speaking on behalf of Commander General Yohana is what's going to save our people, even in the prison system. Because even in the prison system, them brothers and sisters need assistance too. Right. They have a right to come back into this fold, into this truth as well. That's why separation is important. That's why it's important for us to coming back to who we truly are. Why is that? Because we believe that we are below the oppressor. They tell us that God loves everybody, but deep down in your Christian mind, you believe that you're below the oppressor. You believe that you're below any other nation and their God, when in reality, we are above them. I'm going to show you why. Let me Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. Bob, show everybody here.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, the 7, verse 6.
Go ahead.
For thou art a holy people.
Again, the Lord is telling us that we are a holy people, separate unto the Most High God. Keep going.
Unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people.
He chose us to be a special people. A special people. What does it mean to be special? A lot of you have a special fit you like to put on, a special pair of shoes, special pair of socks. You know what I mean? It means that we're favored. And you know what else is important too? To understand something, especially for the younger brothers and sisters. When you realize that that fellow Black and Latino man and woman is special, you know what you won't do? You won't abuse them. You won't abuse your brother. You won't abuse your sister. You won't have simple divisions, man, among you. You go on Twitter today, I buy. You got simple Negroes talking about, I'm dating the Black American. We don't get down with the Haitian, the Jamaican, the Puerto Rican, Cuban, and Mexican. Forget them. But you love the oppressor, though. You kiss the crack of the white man's ass, Salakia. Right. You kiss the behind of the oppressor. You do it. You love the oppressor, though, but you hate your brother and your sister. The oppressor does not want to see Dominicans and Haitians coming together. The oppressor does not want to see Guatemalans and Mexicans coming together. The oppressor does not want to see Jamaicans and the Negroes here in America coming together. But God does. That's why he sent his priests and prophets back in 1969, and the work is being done. We are a special people. That Jamaican man and woman is special. That Mexican man and woman is special according to God. That Mexican brother and sister is the greatest people on this earth. That Native American and Seminole Indian brother and sister, that Puerto Rican brother and sister, Haitian brother and sister, guess what? God's chosen people and special to the Most High. Keep going.
Unto himself.
Unto himself. Special unto the Lord. Keep going.
Above all people.
Above the oppressor.
Above all people.
Above the Arab, the Chinese, Japanese.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, we are above all people upon the face of the earth. And knowing that we are above all people upon the face of the earth, who gives a damn if you win a little award because the oppressor believes that you can sing, dance, rap, or throw a football? I want to drop a nugget on you. There's nothing wrong with liking entertainment. Entertainment has its place. It's entertainment. But the problem is we look up to entertainers. We put people like Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan. We have a tendency to fight and argue and act like these brothers and sisters are above reproach and they are beyond righteous when they're just entertainers. You know how the oppressor looks at LeBron James and Michael Jordan and Kendrick Lamar and Drake? The white man looks at them like Bojangles. Y'all probably don't even know who Bojangles is. Some of y'all like, sir, I don't know who the hell that is. Bojangles was a brother who was a tap dancer, talented brother, tap dancing for the oppressor, though, who died broke and penniless, trying to appease the oppressor. And when you look at the oppressors wearing blackface and dancing and doing whatever, they're mimicking that brother. That's how they view every singer, every entertainer, and every athlete. They look at them like that. And just because you're an athlete or a singer and you have prominence in the oppressor's world because they propped you up, does not make you a leader. Right. It does not mean that you can solve the problems for Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And with our people, we look at them like they're gods, like worshiping the ground that they work on. You go up on make a post about Michael Jordan. People are like, you talk about Michael, say something about LeBron. They're gonna be like, brother, you better not say nothing about that boy from Akron, Ohio. You better not say nothing about Kendrick Lamar. You better not say nothing about Drake when all of it is foolishness.
Right.
They're brothers and sisters in the world. They're talented nonetheless, but it does not mean that they are fit to lead our people. Right. They in the world doing all type of wickedness. I like to point out Drake wickedness. Kendrick is just as wicked. Or have you forgotten? You know it's onto a man now, right? Yeah, exactly. Don't get me wrong, Drake is just as evil, sleeping with different brothers' wives, but at the same time, what rapper doesn't do that? That's what they promote, and that's what needs to be stopped. The culture of sleeping with different men's wives, the culture of being a whore or a whoremonger and being a drunkard and being an evil, wicked bastard should not be promoted at all by any of them.
Right.
It shouldn't be. You looking at your different rap and entertainers thinking that's the pinnacle. No, it's not. I'm going to tell you what the pinnacle for every Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman is and should be. Akaniya, give me Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. On what is paramount, on what we should be doing. Keep going about. Keep reading. Read it again. From above what?
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Of course, we are above all people upon the face of the earth. Listen, man. And it's not because we jump higher than everybody. It's not because we sing and rap and look better and do everything better and it's smarter, which we are. But it's because, more importantly, our God chose us to be above these other nations. He chose us. He also said if he chose anybody else, they'd be following his laws, statutes, and commandments now. Right. Which also proves that we are that stiff-necked people, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. And why it's important to get right. It's important to get right. You're looking at that entertainer, you're looking at getting a Grammy, winning the Super Bowl, winning an NBA championship, like that's just the top goal. You know what I mean? And being free, white, and 21, living the American dream. That's not what you should strive for. Let me tell you what every Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman needs to strive for. Read what you got. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13.
The book of Ecclesiastes, 12, 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Meaning this. When people ask, well, Yediah, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do in my life as a Black man, as a Latino man, as a First Nation man or woman? Read.
Fear God.
Fear what?
Fear God.
Fear God. That's the number one thing. Our people don't fear God no more. Right. You know why you don't fear God? Because you fear the oppressor. And the oppressor is not to be feared. The Most High is to be feared. Read on.
Right. And keep his commandments.
And keep his commandments. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments. Alawat Panya. Barak. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua.
Watch it. Get it on. Appreciate it. Right. Let's get it on, Akim. Walking out there. Got any questions? I'll answer them for you. I'll work it out for you. Get your mind all way right. That's what you want. All right. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I sent some videos your dad. You can go over any that's appropriate. You can just make sure the people at home see them. And that's that. Any questions in the room? All right, let me see what I got. Go ahead, Al.
I got one from Officer Mahayaman, sir, South Carolina. He asked, how does a sister deal with her husband having multiple wives in the truth? She understands and accepts the scriptures, just needs to know how to fight her demons.
Okay, stand by 1 second. Okay. The Bible says, resist the devil and he will flee from thee. What you want to do is read James, I believe, the 2nd chapter. Okay, accepting your husband having another wife, right, is very similar to breaking a bad habit. You see, women out there, you've had a bad habit your entire life. Things that are evil, you've called good. And things that are good, you've called evil. And so really what you're really fighting is your resistance to finding out actually what's right and wrong. You're resistant to it. You're resistant to changing your moral code. In your life, there were men that you left, these men who were good men, good fathers to your children. You left them because they were cheating on you. And you went and married another man who was a child molester, or another man that beat you half to death and molested your children. You see, you had a upside down and backwards moral code. You didn't know right from wrong. You come from a world where a woman stays with a man who sleeps with her children, but she leaves a man who cheats on her with other women. That's the world you come from. Am I telling you something you don't know? That's every day, huh? Please believe you can molest her children. She'll stay with you. But if she finds a phone number in your pocket from them girls at the club, oh, I know that's an old reference, but if she finds Instagram accounts for you, look of you pushing a like on a picture, she's going to leave you for that. It's just her moral code. It's how she grew up. This would be different in another country where they knew that a man had the right to have more than one woman, but they would have some other morality that they make up that's arbitrary, that everyone has to follow. In the UPK, your wife is actually learning God's moral code. She's learning right from wrong. Now, there'll be a transition because you grew up your entire life thinking that it did not matter what a man did. He could molest your children. He could beat you. As long as he didn't cheat on you, you would stay with him. Now, I can tell you the basis of why that tradition, why that moral code is so important in America. If you would ask her, would she like to hear that? I can tell you that if you want. Or I can just go straight to how do you fight it? Either one. You just let me know for a second, all right? Whenever she answers, you tell me, please. Okay, anything else?
It was how to fight it, sir.
This is what you do. You fight it. Gracias. You fight it the same way that you fight anything that you want to do that you have decided not to do. You fight it the way you lose weight, or the way you give up drinking, or the way that you decide to get on an exercise program, or the way that you decide to go back to school and further your education. You fight it with discipline, sweetie. That's what you do. You fight it with discipline. How do you do any hard thing in life? Now, the problem is, if you don't ever do any hard things, it's going to be very difficult for you to do this thing because you live a life of pleasure and getting whatever you want and doing whatever you want, eating whatever you want, drinking whatever you want, smoking whatever you want, having sex with whoever you want. And so now this thing that requires discipline will be more difficult for some women than others because you don't have discipline. But if you have some discipline, even though you grew up in a society where you accepted child molestation, but did not accept cheating on you, if you have some discipline, you can fight this. You fight it with discipline, sweetie pie. Discipline. That's what you need. How do you force yourself to do anything? How do you get your black ass up and go to work every goddamn day? How do you do that? Do you want to go every day? Or there's some days when you don't want to go and you still get up and you get dressed and you clean yourself and you get out the door. That's how you accept your man having another woman. Discipline. You read the Bible where God said it was not a sin. You know that your husband has certain rules that he must follow. Your husband can't have sex with a whore. Your husband can't have sex with a woman of another nation. Your husband cannot have sex with children. Your husband cannot be some pedophile or some sodomite. He can't be these things. Your husband cannot be with a woman who has a man. Your husband has rules. If he breaks those rules, your husband gets kicked out of this school. So you know that he has rules. Your husband had to change his moral code, did he not? Don't you know your husband was cheating on you your entire marriage before you came into the truth? Don't you know that, sweetie? You think your husband just now, you know what women think, they think that when their husband joined the UPK, that's the first time he went and got another woman. Because your husband lied to you the entire marriage. He was lying to you. Now that you know he has other women, you're flabbergasted and clutching your pearls. He's been cheating on you the entire time you knew him, and it was with your sister and probably your mother. That's what was going on. So your husband had to change his moral code. Well, so do you. How does your husband change his moral code? How did your husband stop dealing with prostitutes? Because that's what he was doing. How did your husband stop meeting women and playing whores online for sex? He was doing that. He had to stop. How did your husband stop having sex with your sister and your mother? He was doing that. How did he stop? Discipline. Discipline. Yediah.
If I could, sir, what you're saying is so heavy. The truth is the reason why he kept you.
Give him a hand. I don't think they realize that, but he told the truth in here today. La neta. La neta. He told the truth. Sweetie, the only reason that man is with you is because he's in the truth. Otherwise, he would have left you too. So while you hate him having other women, you're the other woman. It's you, because he would have left you if not for this school. So you might want to embrace it, Dumpling. You might want to embrace it. That's what you do. You need discipline, sweetie, all right? Anything else?
Sir. This is from Princess Izarma. She says, Salakia, sir, if you can I get a breakdown of Matthew 5 and 20?
Try to use a microphone, Hakim, too, on your online.
Oh.
I always forget. For the people to hear it at home, all right?
Oh.
What does he want now?
She wants a breakdown of Matthew 5 and 20, sir.
No problem. You got it.
This is Matthew 5, verse 20. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
What was the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees? Where do you go for that? Beware of the leaven of the scribes and Pharisees. Who knows that precept? Find that for the sister. The Bible is saying if you're not going to enter the kingdom of heaven unless you are more righteous than the scribes and Pharisees. What was the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees? Hypocrisy was their righteousness. The scribes and Pharisees broke every law in the Bible daily, and they just acted like they didn't. That was their righteousness. That was their righteousness. Their righteousness was looking righteous and yet being lawbreakers. Well, if you are going to be just like them, then you are not making the kingdom. Are you righteous the way a preacher is righteous? Is that your righteousness? I see what you are. You're righteous like Creflo and T.D. Jakes is righteous. Oh, you wear a cross around your neck. You go to church every Sunday. You wear beautiful dresses and beautiful suits, and you molest children. And you are a LGBT person. Did you hear about the cursing pastor? Did I send you that video? Marah, are you aware of the cursing pastor? Have you heard of this before? Oh, this is a thing on the internet. There's this man that's called the cursing pastor. He had a pretty big internet following, and he was against the LGBT community. You might want that video first when he was about to fight a woman of the LGBT community because he don't play that mess. He don't play it. He's a preacher. He curses a lot, but he is righteous and he don't play no gay mess. When Yediah plays the video, then I'll finish the story. What you want to do is you want to be better than preachers because preachers only look righteous, but they are not actually righteous. Preachers seem like they obey God, but preachers never obey God. I'll prove it to you with this precept. Do you have leaven? Look, whoever has the microphone, please.
This is from Matthew 16, verse 6. Then Jesus said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees.
Beware of the leaven of who?
The leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
Beware of the leaven of the Pharisee and the Sadducee. Now remember, Jesus Christ said, unless your righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the Pharisees and the scribes, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven. The scribes were another religious sect. Think of it like Christian denominations, the Episcopalians, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Pentecostal. It was a religious sect. Jesus Christ said, beware of the leaven of the Pharisee and the Sadducee. What is leaven? Yeast is leaven. Yeast. Yeast is that small thing. If you put it in flour, it grows a big loaf of bread. It's a little tiny grain. But if you put it in bread and water and come back tomorrow, you're going to have a big loaf of bread because it puffs up the bread. That's what hypocrisy does. Hypocrisy, once you let a little bit of it inside of you, it blows you up until you think you're the honorable Dr. Martin Luther King. Until the video comes out, the audience having sex with prostitutes and having an orgy in Washington, D.C. You see, Martin Luther King looked righteous. He sure enough sounded righteous. But he loved to have orgies at night. And he made deals with white people to sell his leadership to them. Everybody understands. You got to exceed that sweetness, all right? You got to stop. You got to be better than them. Be better than preachers. You have the cursing pastor? Hold that one. Give me the one where he was cursing out the LGBT woman. And then play this one, all right? No sweat. Any other questions while we're waiting? Oh, I did not send you that. You got to Google that. That's everywhere. Just put the cursing pastor, and he called her a profane word that you might use for a woman who is delusional, thinking she's a man. He used that phrase with her. When you have it, I'll take it. You need the microphone, don't get me wrong. All right, everyone, just get the mic before you even ask the question. Get the mic first, and then you can ask the question. Go ahead.
So I had a point of 11 of the Pharisees, what the 11 was.
Mm-hmm.
This is Matthew chapter 16, verse 11. How is it that you do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that you should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Verse 12. Then understood they how he bade them not to beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees.
That's a perfect precept about understanding the letter as opposed to the spirit. It's just like you Christians today that read a precept in the New Testament and you think that means that all nations can be saved. Or you think that means that Jesus Christ died for everybody because you look at the letters written, but you don't understand the point he's trying to make. At this time, they thought Jesus Christ was saying, don't eat yeast, don't eat bread. That's you Christians that think the Bible says that all nations can be saved. You're reading the words, but you don't understand the point. He's not making a point that all nations can be saved. He's saying that whatever nation an Israelite is in, the Most High God will deliver him from that nation. You don't know that because you read the words, but you don't understand the point. That happened 2,000 years ago when they thought Jesus Christ was speaking against eating bread, and he was not. He was comparing hypocrisy with the leaven that makes a loaf of bread rise. It makes you big. It makes you a preacher. It makes you a bishop. It makes you the president. It makes you an alderman. It makes you a councilman because you can look righteous and go home and be just as wicked, or if not more wicked, than the people you claim to serve. That's what the precept was talking about that the sister asked about, all right? You got to be better than that. All right, you got to be better than that. You got to be better than preachers. You got to be better than the Pharisees. You got to keep the commandments of God. They don't, but you have to. Good to go here. You don't have it yet, you guys. Like, am I jamming you up or even looking for it? Okay. No sweat. Morale.
I could too, so back on what you said about how you can be a hypocrite
That's it.
and be the president. The Democrats was mad about Elon Musk taking away the aid from the other countries. Like they were saying how he doesn't qualify to be in there, but they forget that they didn't never qualify to be in there.
Yeah, they're the same as him. He's a giant hypocrite who is an illegal alien. I sent you guys the tape. He is an illegal alien. Illegal alien. And yet he's, of course, he wants to kick out the chosen people of God, who just simply because they had the same problem he had, but they didn't have the money that he had. He's a hypocrite. Hypocrisy raises you up, brother. In this kingdom, it makes you big. You understand? All right. Check this out. Let me show you a bit of hypocrisy if I could, Morale. This is the cursing pastor. Let me know when everyone online can see it. That's all I need. You heard me, you die, right? This is the cursing pastor. And this is his famous stance on the LGBT community. Go ahead and play it.
With the right amount of money, you'd have gave him some. You gave him some that Diet Coochie. Yeah, you gave someone I almost stopped you in your head. Okay. So don't come in. Don't get it twisted. Because I'll knock you off on your ass on my show. Okay, I'll knock you on your ass. Okay, don't come in play with me. Because I'm the wrong one for your dyke ass be playing with. You know what I'm saying? I'm the wrong one for your ass be playing with. I'll knock you on your ass on live TV. You understand me? Keep it straight. You understand me? Don't get it twisted. Okay? So don't get it twisted. Don't bring that dyke ass up in here with that bullshit, because I'll knock your goddamn ass off. Right here?
That's him, Marab. Give me your record, everything, all right? Well, I'm in the class though now. No, sir. Give me your record. Oh, that's him. He's famous for that. Oh, he took a firm stance against the LGBT community. Fast forward to last week. Give me 1 second, young warrior. Fast forward to next week. This is him in the hospital. A videotape emerged of the cursing pastor with his woman, and she was using a object on his backside where the sun does not shine, Moreau. Where there is no sunshine. That's where she was using this object on that same man. And this is the tape of him as he's in the hospital, looks like he's dying, confessing that it is absolutely true. You die. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it. Gracias. Gracias. Oh no, this is good. Should I move on? Is it on the screen for the people at home yet?
Oh, it is.
Okay, I'm fine. I think, do I need, okay, let me know.
Let me deal with the obvious elephant in the room. The video that is going super viral of me and Dale about 4-5 years ago. Now, be careful. I did not say male. I said Dale.
All right, I got to go. Well, I said it one time. He did it. Okay, the video is true. You can go watch the video. It's him with some woman. It's he's an LGBT man. Okay, everybody gets that, right? That's an example of hypocrisy. That is how righteous the Pharisees were. They spoke against things. They talked about things. They would even put you to death if you committed that crime. But they themselves committed the same crime, which is why they all dropped their stones when Jesus Christ said, "Let he among you that is without sin cast the first stone." They all dropped their stones and left because they were guilty of the same sins that they were going to stone people for. That's the righteousness of the Pharisee. You got to do better than that. Anything else? Shalom, more. Any other questions?
This is from Michael Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Says, Shalom, General, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
How do you prove to someone that cigarettes are unlawful? Is there a law saying it's unlawful to smoke? Or can it be done in moderation like alcohol?
Yeah, it is unlawful to smoke anything at all. I'll give you a few precepts. These precepts do not work. Why? Because smokers are not smoking because they think God approves of it. What do you think every crackhead is saying? How does God feel about this crack cocaine? I will only smoke the pipe if it is of God's will. Addicts don't care about God's will. They don't care. If you smoke weed, you're not doing it because you think God approves of it. You're doing it because you're an addict. You're addicted to it. As opposed to alcohol that can be drank in moderation. Marijuana, Cigarettes cannot be done in moderation. You can't moderately do a little cocaine. That's impossible to do it. You can't do it. These things are designed to take over your life. They're supposed to destroy your life. They're supposed to give you cancer. They're supposed to take your life, and you can't do it in moderation. You can't do a little bit of it. I'll give you a few precepts. Let me give you how important it is to you. You can give me the one in the Proverbs that speaks about putting the fire to his lips. But for this brother, instead, let's go to actually what it is. Give me lighting incense to another god and putting it to your nose. Putting that branch to your nose and inhaling the smoke of that other god. Smoking cigarettes, smoking weed is the worship of a god. In the past, it was essential in religious practices. Even down to the tribe of Gad, the chosen people of God, the so-called North American Indians, it is essential to their religion to sit around and pass the peace pipe. It's essential to their religious beliefs to smoke peyote and to have hallucinations. These things are designed to get you to worship them. That's the point. And it's always been like that. Always. Whenever you have the precept, you can read it.
Oh God.
Go ahead.
This book of Ezekiel, chapter 8, verse 17. Then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing that they commit the abomination?
They commit what?
That they commit the abomination.
That they commit the abomination. What's an abomination? It's an evil act against the law of God. That's an abomination. Continue.
Which they commit here,
Mm-hmm.
for they have filled the land with violence.
For they have done what?
For they have filled the land with violence.
Like this might sound familiar to you. For they have filled the land with violence. Now you think about the black community since drug addiction has taken hold. Think about how long that's been. Take it back to the 70s when heroin and when smoking weed became so hip. It was such a hip, cool thing to do, to get high and smoke weed, right? White people would come down to Harlem because black people had all of the weed. So white people came to Harlem to get drugs, to get weed. They came to listen to musicians so they could smoke weed in these clubs. And Harlem, bit by bit, began to be a terrible place to live. Because with drug addiction, with smoking comes violence. Violence. Continue.
And have returned to provoke me to anger.
Keep going. You understand that? Keep going.
And lo, they put the branch to their nose.
And say it again.
And lo, they put the branch to their nose.
And lo, they put the branch to their nose. Why are they putting this branch to their nose? Is there more? I'll give you more precepts. They put the branch to their nose to inhale the branch because it goes in your nose, and from your nose, it goes into your lungs, and now you're high. They put the branch to their nose to inhale it. Give me more precepts unless there's more there. Give me lighting incense to the other gods to further explain it to you. That's what this was called a long time ago. You would light incense and inhale the incense. And because you inhale this incense, this scent, this thing that you smell, it goes in you, and now you're having a spiritual experience. Oh, now you write the best raps when you're high. Your raps are wonderful when you're high. Your raps are terrible no matter what you do. You could smoke an oak tree and your rap would still be terrible because you're a terrible rapper. You just don't know you are because you're high. You think you women, you can't even relax to have sex to be with your husband unless you smoke weed. Why is that? Because you're full of fear and tensions and trauma, and you don't ever feel relaxed unless you're a drug addict, unless you are high because you're a drug addict. How could a drug addict relax without doing drugs? Of course you're not relaxed. You need a fix. You need a fix. When you don't, if you ride on an airplane or a long bus ride, you're going to get in a fight. You're going to fight your first week or two when you go to jail. You're going to fight simply because everybody in there needs a fix. Everybody in there needs a fix, and you're going to fight simply because you need a fix, because you're a drug addict. Give me another precept, please.
Okay. This is the book of Jeremiah, the 44, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because of their wickedness.
Because of their what?
Because of their wickedness.
Because of their wickedness. Go ahead.
Which they have committed to provoke me to anger.
Mm-hmm. Because this wickedness makes the Lord angry. Go ahead.
And that they went to burn incense and to serve other gods.
They went to burn incense. That's the branch. And to serve other gods. Because when you get high, you can't serve God. Don't you know you don't even come into the truth because of our stance against weed? You think I don't know that? I know why you don't join the school, because you can't do anything unless you're allowed to get high. You're going to lose your dream job over drugs. You're not going to make it in the NFL or the NBA because of their drug policy. You have to get high. It is your God. It is your God. It is what you must do. It is the God that you serve. And no amount of precepts will make you give it up because you're a drug addict. But however, there are people that have one God. Yahweh is their God, and they're going to give up marijuana. They're going to give up cigarettes. They're going to give up abusing alcohol. They'll give that up too. And if they can't drink without abusing alcohol, they're not going to drink at all. They'll give up alcohol completely because they serve one God. You're not like that. That's not who you are. All right. This is the wrong group for you. All right. Anything else?
Whom they knew not.
There you go. All right. Anything? That's it with that. There's another one about putting the lips to your mouth. Give him that one just to be thorough. Go ahead.
This is book of Proverbs 16, verse 27. An ungodly man diggeth up evil.
What kind of man?
An ungodly man diggeth up evil.
An ungodly man diggeth up evil. This man is ungodly. He's unrighteous. He's wicked. Keep going.
And in his lips there is as a burning fire.
You see, because that's what you tell yourself when you're smoking weed. You say it comes from the earth. Well, so does poison ivy. So rub it all over your dumb face, you idiot. What doesn't come from the earth? Heroin comes from the earth. Cocaine comes from the earth. Everything. Poison ivy, cow dung is in the earth. Everything comes from the earth. But that's your reason for smoking weed, because it's natural, right? Well, this man digs up evil. Why is it evil? Because you're using it for the wrong purpose. That's not what marijuana is for. Marijuana is not for your pleasure. If you need to relax, alcohol is lawful in moderation. God already gave that to you. It's pretty old. It's been around a long time, and it works. Everybody understands. You can absolutely have a drink in moderation. It's possible. The Bible says, if a man need a drink, have a drink in moderation. You can have that. You need something to relax. You need a social lubricant, or you have a drink in moderation. That's what the Bible says to do. There is no scripture that says, smoke a little bit in moderation, get a little cocaine in moderation, have a blunt in moderation. There is no such thing as smoking weed in moderation, because you're going to need more and more and more weed, stronger and stronger and stronger strains of weed. Then you'll have weed in your lotion, weed in your gummies, weed in everything, weed in your shampoo, weed in your beer, because there is no such thing as enough, because you're a drug addict and you're disgusting and you're vile, and you let your life revolve around it, and you can't even be with your woman because all you can do is get high. Meanwhile, here we are in the UPK. We don't get high. So you know what that means, sisters out there. I pray you understand that. You hear that right here? That's what not getting high sounds like. Listen carefully. You hear that sound? That's what it is. You hear that? It's like that. It's like that. It's like that all the time. Just like that. This is what it sounds like when you don't get high, right there. Listen good, sisters. That's it. That sound right there. That's what you're not providing. I have to move on. Is there anything else? Any other questions? I'm sure there are, right? No?
This is from,
Let me get Mariah real fast. Go ahead.
Oh, so like I said, Captain Sapar had asked about he asked if, how do we pay the Passover fee? Is it the same as we pay our tithes to the lake?
ISUPK.com. You pay your Passover fee by going to ISUPK.com, and you pay that fee, and you do it 2 weeks ago. Do it now. Everybody understands. That's it. You go in there and pay it. You type in what you're paying it for, and you pay the damn thing. All right? And it covers all of the events out there in where we having the Passover? Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, my goodness, the events out there. The petting zoo. The this, the that, the fun for all ages. You go out there, that covers the whole damn, I don't know how long we're out there, 4 days, 5 days, or something like that. It's really too cheap, really. Really, you should be paying $400. But of course, Commanding General Yohana is kind and merciful. And so you're paying $200 for all these events, and you're bringing your bad kids, and we're going to have a good time and go home and shut your mouth. Anything else? Questions?
Sir. This is from Sister Deandra. She said, Shalom Adawan, Lord Christ.
Shalom.
What is the proper way to prepare for the Passover? Also, Adawan, why do I remove all the leaven in my home, sir?
No problem. Well, one of the ways you prepare for the Passover is getting all of the leaven out of your home. I'll give you the precept. The reason that you have to remove all of the leaven out your home is so that no one can accuse you of eating leaven. That's why you remove it from your house. You want to think of a world where the law had police to make sure that you were keeping it. So if there was leaven in your home, then you could be accused of using that leaven to make bread. And then you would be kicked out of the nation. You'd be an outcast. You'd be ostracized. You could not live in an Israelite town. You could not come into an Israelite temple or school. You'd have to go. And because if there's a little leaven in your house, you could take a piece of it. Give me leaven up on. Give me yeast. Give me a block of yeast. Not the modern yeast that's in a packet, but give me like a block of brewer's yeast. I think will give you a correct account of yeast. Or sourdough. Sourdough starter is also leaven. Leaven is where you keep old flour and water, and you let it somewhere and it gets all dry, and you feed it for a little while. And because you feed it with more flour and more water, over time it accumulates bacteria, right? This bacteria grows and grows and grows. And then if you put a little bit of it in flour and water, over to about 12 hours, it will grow your bread big and fluffy and nice and good to eat. So people would always have some in their house. So you could take a little bit of it and make bread every day. Remember, bread is something that had to be made every day. Right? Every day you have to get up in the morning or get up the night before and make bread so you could eat it the next day. It's because of the leavening process, the rising process. That's yeast. That's flour and water fed over time, fed, and then they dry it out. So it's concentrated. So every home had this in their home. Every home had this, I think, until the 1800s. I have this in all my homes right now. I make my own yeast. It's sitting in the refrigerator or on the table. It's sitting right there. I use that and I make bread with it. It's in every house that I own. That's where it is. So a long time ago, everyone had this. Today, you can show me sourdough starter. It's the same thing, except it's just looser. It's not concentrated like that would be. And you keep this in your house. Now, for the Feast of Unleavened Bread, we were forbidden from eating leavened bread, rised bread, to remember the time when we came out of Egypt and we didn't have any leavened bread because the women had packed up their kneading troughs so fast to get out of Egypt that they had nothing to knead the bread on. A kneading trowel is like Yadai can show you a picture of it. It's like a curved wooden table. And women would put the dough on it and they would knead it. Why? Because once you put the yeast in the dough, in the flour and the water, you let it sit, and then you have to knead it. Kneading it makes it stronger. It makes it tough. The yeast makes it breathe, right? It puffs it up. So if you have dough that's strong, then when it breathes, it will stick. It will be strong enough to hold that shape. It won't collapse. So you have to knead bread. Knead it to make sure that the dough is strong enough so that when the yeast breathes, when the bacteria breathes, it holds its shape. That's how you make bread, brothers and sisters, all right? Well, when we left Egypt, because the Lord had just killed the firstborn of the Egyptians, the firstborn of everything in Egypt, we had to run out of Egypt fast before they killed us. So the women packed up their kneading troughs. They had no way to knead the bread. And without kneading the bread, the yeast is not going to work. It'll just collapse. So because they were packed up, and they didn't knead it and they didn't put yeast in it because they had no time to knead it. Everyone understands? So for a while in Egypt, all we had was flat, unraised bread, which is what we call unleavened bread. It's flat. A corn tortilla is unleavened bread, or just, a homemade flour tortilla is unleavened bread, but not a store-bought flour tortilla. It's just bread that has not been, it has no yeast in it. It hasn't been kneaded. It's flour and water, smash it, cook it. That's that. That was the law, because the Most High commanded that for 7 days we eat flat bread. Now, here's the problem. If somebody caught you with yeast in your house, then they would know you was sneaking in there making bread, and that'd be your behind. So the Lord said, get it out of your house. Remove it from your home. That way you're never accused of making leavened bread. That's why you're doing it. That's a sourdough starter right there. You can use that. That's your yeast. It rises your bread. It takes longer than, concentrated yeast. It'll take longer to use that. But it's good and it will work. It will raise your bread over a longer period of time. Everybody gets it, right? Any questions about everybody understand? All right. Good to go. Next.
Sir. This is from Bakwalat. It's like I want, if I could, get a general breakdown of being vigilant and how extreme we should be about it in these times, hope for sure.
No problem. Being vigilant, right? Give me the book of Ephesians where it speaks about walking circumspect. Let me tell you something. I don't know if you notice it, but I'm sure most of you have begun to notice it. We are living in absolutely dangerous times. Times are extremely dangerous. Like, I haven't seen crime be this bad or danger be so close, I think, since, the 80s, early 90s, 20 years or 25 years. You're going to see crime like you've never experienced. You better be so careful when you're at the gas station. You better be careful in your homes. You better be careful when you're in the supermarket. If you live in Philadelphia, you better be careful if you're down there at the mall, because a goddamn plane might drop out of the sky on your head. You die. Do you know that is my mall up there? That's the gym I go to when I'm in town. That is the diner I go to whenever I'm in Philly. On my weekends, I spend my weekends in that LA Fitness, in that mall, in Roosevelt Mall. I sit in that diner in the 2 seats behind the seat that this man damn near got killed at because a plane sprocket hit him in his forehead. You sitting in the damn diner, a plane part comes through the window and busts you upside your goddamn head. I mean, I'm watching the news out going, Lord, I drink coffee in that place. That is my LA Fitness. That's my Philly LA Fitness when I'm in town, right there. And I say, Barakatah Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. I was not there that day because that is when I'm there. Because it was the council weekend, I was not there. That's why I wasn't there, because we had council Saturday. Otherwise, I would have been there Friday. I would have been right there Friday, working out in the LA Fitness, sitting in that diner before I work out. I do it, like I do it on schedule. Now that I've told you that, make sure I don't ever see you there, because I'm going to assume you're there to try to commit violence against me. And I'm going to defend myself if I see you. So I've said this now. Don't ever go to that diner, ever. Don't ever go to the LA Fitness. If I see a face that's familiar, I'm going to assume you're there for danger. We're clear on that now, everybody, right? Okay, solid. So that's where I am. I wasn't there that Friday. I was not there. I would have been if not for it being council week. I would have been there. There's danger from everywhere. There's danger from sitting at the diner, from going to get that Dunkin' Donuts. Before, you had to worry about maybe somebody robbing the place. Now a plane might drop on your head. Do you understand? Do you know how many plane crashes that's been since Thursday? I think it's like 20. Since Thursday. plane crashes, plane malfunctions, emergency landings in South Korea, in America, everywhere. And I'm talking since Thursday. They've all happened. That's biblical prophecy. That's the things that you used to trust. Now you can't trust them anymore. The things you used to rely on cannot be relied on anymore. That's the stars of heaven falling to the earth. Things that you would at one time look up to. At one time, you looked up to an airplane pilot. You thought he was a Superman, didn't you? Now you know he's just a white man who got a job because he's not black or Hispanic. That's all he is. He's completely incompetent. You die. Microphone.
Because you said it's 11. In one video, you said it's one death. He said, in all my 35 years, never happened. He was terrified.
He said in 35 years, he had to do the engine blew up. He's flying the plane now. The engine blew up. That's since Thursday. Since Thursday, the engine blew up. He said, in 35 years, I have never had an engine blow up. Well, the things that you relied on, the things that you thought were sure, safe things are not anymore. Estar a salvo. You better be safe. You better be careful of. That's what this precept is about. You understand? You're going to have to walk circumspect. And I'll explain right now. Go ahead and read it, please.
This book of Ephesians, the 5, verse 15. See then that you walk circumspectly.
Someone look up the word circumspectly. I'll try. Alex, let me just do it for time's sake. Circum or circa is for circle, right? Circumspectly, spec is for spectacles or a spectacle. It's for seeing. So you have to watch all around you. You got to keep your eyes open all around you. You're going to see security in the UPK step all the way up because we don't allow our people to be harmed. That's not something that we will stomach. That's not something Commanding General Johanna will allow. So we're going to get all the way secure and right. We're going to make sure estar a salvo. You're going to make sure that you're safe. You're going to make sure that we're safe. It's going to happen. There's no way around it. What you should do as a man, as a father, you better make sure your family is safe. You better teach your wife to be careful at that goddamn gas station. Don't let your wife be some idiot that gets out the car with the car running and goes in and pays for the gas with the car running and the kid in the damn car seat. You're losing the car and the kid. You're going to have to be careful. You're going to have to look all around you. You're going to have to make sure you're safe. Now, there's only one true way to make sure you're safe, and that's to have God's protection. There's only one way to get God's protection, and that's to be an obedient son, an obedient daughter. Then now the father will take special care to make sure you're safe. Everybody understands, all right? Read that again and read the rest of it.
This book of Ephesians, 5, verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise.
Not as what?
Not as fools.
Yeah, you can't be a fool. Don't be stupid your whole life. All you care about is getting high. Meanwhile, a plane is about to fall on your head. What do you care about? Smoking weed? Is that your thing, the big thing in your life? How you can smoke weed? There's a plane about to hit you on the head. Do you understand me? There's a plane about to hit you on your stupid head while you're crossing the street. And what are you thinking about? Can I smoke weed? Am I allowed to smoke weed? Smoke all you want. Smoke all you want. There'll be one less drug addict when the plane crashes on your head. Everyone understands. All right. You get the point. Estar a salvo. Esta es claro. Just to make sure that's clear. Everybody has it. Done. Go ahead.
A brother wants to know, is ostrich lawful? You wear ostrich?
No, ostrich is an unclean animal to eat or wear the skin of. An ostrich is an unclean bird. What are some other unclean birds? Vultures, hawks, falcons, penguins. Those are all unclean birds. To be simpler, what's a clean bird? A clean bird is the chicken. A clean bird is the, what's some other clean bird you can eat? Go ahead. Microphone.
I have a question on that, sir. We generally say that like poultry or the Gallio forms would be lawful at family.
All of those. What form? You said poultry or what?
Gallio, it's Gallio forms is a family, but it's commonly called poultry.
Yes, Gallia. Gallia is the scientific name.
Gallio forms. I'm gonna look it up.
No problem. That sounds familiar to me. But poultry, there are animals that are considered poultry animals. Chickens, turkeys, pheasant, quail. Those are all lawful animals, and I believe what the officer said is absolutely correct. All right. Anything else you can need? Go ahead.
Galliforms is an order of heavy-bodied, ground-feeding birds that includes turkeys, chicken, quail, and other land fowl.
That's it. Everybody gets that. All right. You understand? Come on.
So if I can add, what would be the delineating factor for birds? I know with fish, there's fins and scales. With like birds, flightless, and birds that fly, what's the delineation?
Well, the Most High in the Bible says after its kind. After its kind. Now, the animals that are unclean are all predators, right? The poultry birds pick, and they're not predators. You get my point? They don't catch and kill a fish or catch and kill anything. They're animals that are scavengers that pick on the ground. So if I was to look for what would differentiate them, it's that. Every bird that you can't eat is some type of predator bird that you're not allowed to eat. All right?
I have one more question, sir, on the topic of the plane crashes. Can we break it down with there's a phenomenon in psychology, I'm sure you're familiar with it, called the Werther syndrome or copycat syndrome. They studied it in school shootings where
I'm sorry, I missed one fact. Let's double check for the brother. Just make sure that an ostrich is not a poultry bird. Just to be thorough, all right? Let's just make sure just in case. I've never seen ostrich in that supermarket, but hell, maybe you get some ostrich or something like that. So let's just double check on ostrich. There are some weird things that you can eat that you might be unaware of, like a giraffe. A giraffe is a clean and lawful animal to eat. So let's just look and just double check about ostriches and see if it is. All right. When you find it, let me know. If not, go ahead, Warrior. A bunch.
On the topic of plane crashes, I was wondering if it would be correct to also break it down from the standpoint of the concept of the Werther syndrome or the copycat syndrome. They talk about this in school shootings where when there's one school shooting, they've often found that someone else will copy the act. Someone that had that information will go off. Now the topic of like plane crashes or famous celebrity deaths or suicides, what they noticed is that after like a celebrity suicide, there'll be a rise in suicides in that area or in that country, if you will. Can we use that as well? Like when one disaster happens, is often and it's repeated, and it could be because of suicide or no?
You mean, are you speaking about the plane crashes?
Like Werther's like a copycat syndrome, that one of these sorts of things happens, that some of them they observe that some of them aren't accidental, even crashes, etc. Okay,
well, I'd have to check. As far as I know, these crashes have been mechanical, engines going bad. I'd have to see if they're on purpose. I don't know that they're on purpose. I haven't seen any indication that these plane crashes are suicidal or man-caused. I don't know. What you're saying about suicides and mass shootings is absolutely true. That's a psychological phenomenon. It's also biblical. Why? Because whatever is exalted will be repeated. So anything that comes on TV and gets attention, people are going to do it to get the attention. So that's a psychological. If you put a mass shooting on the television, you say the name of the person who did it, you show their manifesto of their writings and everything that they thought and believed. People who have the same sickness will decide that they want that kind of attention too. And then they'll go out and do a mass shooting. That absolutely is true, because anything that is exalted will be looked up to, and people will do it because they want to be looked up to. Now, the plane crashes seem mechanical. If they're not mechanical, then what you're saying is true. If they are mechanical, then it is a curse from God to curse a whites-only government, to show this world that without blacks and Hispanics, every job will be done by some incompetent white man. And that's the reason for it, if not that. Come on.
I have some information on ostriches.
Go ahead.
It says ostriches are mainly herbivores, but they will sometimes eat small animals. They are not hunters like raptors, but they may fight back if they feel threatened.
Yeah, then you better let me check with Commander General Yohana on that, just in case. It sounds like all my life in the truth, I've always learned we could not eat ostrich. But then again, it doesn't come up because there's no access to ostrich. All right. So I will go check with Commander General Yohana just to make sure that I'm correct. All right. That's for the brother's question. Go ahead. Please, Ven Altravis.
This is from Young Man Jermaine. That's Sloggett, General. Can you break down Proverbs 3 and 9 and Proverbs 3 and 32?
No sweat. Go ahead.
This is the book of Proverbs, the 3 verse 9. Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thy increase.
This is speaking about keeping the law that the Most High gave us with the feast of first fruits. There's a feast in the Bible, a high holy day, that's called the Feast of Fruits. It's where because the Most High gave us the harvest, the first harvest that would come in, I believe in the springtime, that first large harvest, that we would make a sacrifice of animals and we would have a feast to thank the Most High for the harvest. We would acknowledge that the only way this harvest came in so bountiful is because of God's help. And so we would sacrifice animals, eat the animals, and have a feast and dedicate that feast to the Lord. And that's what the scripture is speaking about right here. The Feast of First Fruits. You can find that in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. All right. Próximo preguntas.
You also want to break down Proverbs 3 and 32. This book of Proverbs 3 verse 32. For the forward is abomination to the Lord.
For the what?
For the forward is
forward.
The forward. For the forward is abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous.
A froward person is like a rude bastard. You know, somebody that would, if the kids weren't here, I would say a-hole. You understand? That's what a froward person is. You've met people like this in your life. You're one of those people. You're that. Where you're somebody that is just rude and cruel and mean to other people. That's a froward person. The Bible says that in the truth, you have to obey the froward as well as the meek and lowly. But to be froward is an abomination. Meaning what? You're going to meet people that are a-holes. You're going to meet people that are just mean and cranky. You know, if they're giving you a righteous order, you should obey it. And don't worry, that brother is going to be put in his place for being froward. He's going to be dealt with. Just take him to counsel for being froward. That's all. You just take him straight to counsel. Before you know it, he'll be sitting in counsel with me, and I will show him that being froward is not something he likes. You can't be an a-hole and be in the school. That's what a froward person is, an a-hole, a cranky, somebody just always cranky, always being mean, always mean to you all the time. You don't know what you're doing wrong. You're with him. You don't know what you did wrong. You don't know what happened. He just is mean to you, or she just is mean all the time. They're froward, and God hates that. God hates antisocial behavior. Why do you think we have laws against stealing? We have laws against coveting. You understand? You're not allowed to even attempt to get something that somebody else has. You're not allowed to want it. Why? So that we can get along. Every law we have is about either serving God or getting along with each other. That's all the laws. Every law. Why can't you sleep with another man's woman? Why can't you take his land? Why can't you violate him? Why? Because if you do things like that to each other, we can't get along. We'll constantly hurt each other's feelings, violate each other, trespass against each other, and now we're divided. To be froward is to be so mean that nobody can really get along with you. You probably need a cigarette. That's what's wrong with you. You need to get a smoke. Leave the truth and go and smoke. Leave here and get some weed and get the hell out of here. Alexa, what does froward mean?
The word forward can have various
Alexa,
meanings.
stop. Someone look up froward for me, please. All right, Whenever you're ready, tell me. The precept you're going to need is obey the froward as well as the meek and lowly. Go ahead.
Froward, an archaic adjective of a person difficult to deal with, contrary.
That's it. Oh, that's a perfect precept. A person difficult to deal with. Officers in the school, do not be froward. Don't be an a-hole. Don't be mean and cranky to every goddamn body. Can't nobody talk to you. You think because you're an officer of 500. Ooh, he's an officer of 500. He's 1,000? Oh, my Lord. We'll bow down before him. Why are you standing erect? Why aren't you on your knees? He's an officer of 1,000. Have you heard? You're an a-hole. What are you, a cranky? What are you, on your period? Some of you are on your period. You're cranky today. What, you hangry? You need a Snickers? You need some? Take a sandwich. You're hungry. Why are you so mean to every goddamn body? Why are you checking brothers and yelling at them for nothing? For nothing at all. Let me tell you something else they do, since Captain Akkad is here. A lot of you you got a wand to search brothers. There's an electronic wand that you can go beep, 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 and I'll tell you if the brother has a weapon. You don't want to use that wand. You want to search him and grab his pockets and get him and squeeze him around the legs and grab him all up. And I ask Akkad, I say, Akkad, doesn't the brother have a wand right there that he could just wand this brother? The brother puts the wand down and just face the wall. Get your hands up against the wall. You bastard, I bet you got something on you. You're an a-hole. You're power tripping. You feel power, and since you're a little tiny man, you've never felt power before. You've never been called sir in your life. And if not for this school, no one would ever call you sir ever, your entire life. You would never make supervisor at the effing warehouse, ever. But now you're here, and now because someone calls you sir, you're checking him for nothing, you're yelling at him for nothing, and because he doesn't have the courage to take you to counsel, you'll get away with it for a little while, but not long. No, it'll be, before you know it, somebody will be dragging you to counsel, and I'll be making you cry in counsel. You're going to cry. What you want to do is don't be froward. Don't be difficult to deal with. Be easy to deal with. God damn it, we're all here serving God. What are you being mean to him for? That's God's servant, not yours. Why don't you be kind to him? Why don't you show a little grace? You women are froward too. Forget about her. She's just a froward. You can't say anything to her. She's just mean all the time, mean every day. You think she's on a period. She's not. That is just how she is. Just mean constantly, mean at the goddamn Popeyes, mean at her job, mean to you, mean to the kids. Forget about the kids. The kids do anything. The kids are really just, crash dummies that she can just hurt and have no repercussions. She can just yell at the kids all day. Why are you doing that? You got McDonald's money? Why do women ask children, do they have money? Bitch, don't you know they don't have a job? They're 5. Why are you even asking them, do they have money? Because it makes you're power tripping on this child. Oh, that's what you're doing. Since you have $10, don't you, bitch? You got $10. That makes you the mom. I got $10. I got it. Can I have do you have the McDonald's money? I'm the one in charge of the McDonald's money. I'm in charge of it. I'm not giving it to no kid. I'm the one that has the $10. I'll keep it for myself. No, you're power tripping on a 5-year-old. Why? Because you don't have any power. You decide nothing. You're uneducated and stupid. But you are supervisor of the child. So you can hold McDonald's money over their head and yell at them all day. You're froward. And you're another word that I'm refraining from saying for the sake of the children. You know what you are, sisters. You know what I'm thinking. You know the name I'm thinking about you right now. Everybody understands. All right. Don't be that well. Okay. Anything else?
God.
Where's the kids came today? I don't have nothing. Let me tell you what I tried to do. I'm confessing. I'm gonna make a confession here. My wives got on my back as a unified camp about how much money I give away to children. They came against me, all of them. And I said, what in the hell? They told me to go get some bowl of candy and shit. I'll bring some bowl of candy to DC. Them kids looked at that candy like I was weak. They didn't want no goddamn candy. I said, take some kid laugh. All right, I take a Snickers from you. Children don't, they want money. I done forgot the damn money. Go to my car and get some money out of my damn car. I'm tired of this shit. These women ain't gonna tell me what to do. I'm gonna give away all the money. Now clap it up. You're getting it. Oh, listen, go work more hours. Get overtime. Here's my keys out of this. They didn't stole my keys. Go there and see what I got in the little compartment up front. All right. So, I don't know what's in there, but there's something in there. All right, let's go ahead. Go ahead, please.
But his secret is with the righteous.
You get that? Meaning, if you want to know the word of God, the mysteries of God, you're going to have to be righteous, not forward. Don't be so difficult to work with. God damn, a brother comes into the truth, a sister comes into the truth. All of the trials and tribulations are supposed to come from the world. You understand? You can't be the trial. Like a brother's burden in the school can't be talking to you. It can be that he has to come to class and you're there. A brother's burden in the school is supposed to be his mother, his job, his woman in the world, his baby's mother. You know, that's supposed to be the problem. The biggest problem to him is that he has to serve under you in the maintenance department because he got to be around you. Listen, I done told you for years to take him to counsel. I don't know what else I can do for you. If you don't take him to counsel, this whatever you want to do is fine. You don't want to take this woman to counsel that's always being mean to other women because she thinks that other women want her husband. Is that how you want to live, women? You want to have some woman that is mean to every new sister in the school because she's so terrified that these women are going to want to marry her husband that she has to be mean to every new sister who is unmarried to make sure that sister doesn't want her husband. It's going to make her want your husband more. It's going to make your husband want her more. And you're so insecure and you have no confidence in what's between your own legs that you think that the only way you can keep women away from your husband is to be mean to every woman. You're forward and you're that other thing too. Yediah.
Like I said, sister in the chat said the general will make sure these kids got McDonald's.
Listen, give him a hand. Damn nuts. They got to kiss your ass for $2. Listen, I'm buying the McDonald's. And you better not take this money and put it in the gas tank either. Don't you take, Ariel said, all y'all going to do is take that money and put it in the gas tank. Another one came against me. Ariel said, man, their parents going to take that money and put it right in the gas tank. I said, damn. I felt cut. I'm still doing it. You better not put this money in the gas tank. This money is for the kids. You're going to take them and get them something nice. I got to think of something else to do. God damn it. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got a 20. Somebody break this down. Get some change for that and knock that up. Break that up for the kids, all right? All right, we'll do better next time, okay, y'all? All right, go ahead. Also, speaking of walking circumspect, let me tell you what happened to me this week. Both of my cars got broken into this week. They were not touched. Nothing was broken. Somehow, someone was able to push a button and just unlock the car. Got in my truck a car. I mean, I was murderously angry. Got in my truck, took all the money out of my truck, and I believe it was more money in they got in this car too. I think it was about $60, $70 in my thing. I don't know why they would only take that, but they took other things. And then the police came because they had robbed everyone in the neighborhood. And the police said they got some button that they can just push and get in your car. I've never heard of it before, but I'm telling you about it now. You got to get ready for things like that. You're going to have to go back to the 80s and get a what's that thing we used to have all the time? Go ahead. Oh, so 1 second, Kyle. Go ahead.
Because I think I've seen something like that where they got the key fob that goes to your car.
Mhm.
You need the brand of your car, like Dodge or Chevy. And what they'll do is they'll put a code in the key fob that can unlock the
Well,
car.
listen, both my cars are two different brands. They got in them. They must have multiple brands, but they took all kinds of stuff out of the front of their car, both of the cars, money and things I had sitting in there, and the chargers and everything, and my favorite pair of goddamn glasses. They didn't got me for. I better walk circumspect. I'm gonna have to be more careful. Everybody understands? I'm gonna have to get that club that we used to have back in the day that hit a nigga over the head. That was a perfect thing to hit somebody on the head with, is a car club. That's really what it was for. It did half its work protecting your car. The other half was coming off and hitting the fool upside the head with it. You're gonna have to go back and get car clubs, and you're gonna have to get serious. All right, everybody understands? All right, go ahead.
Israel officer Canuck, he said, Shalom, Lord Christ, my Lord, if it pleases you.
Please.
How do you confound a Christian when we say the Son of Man and the Son of God is not talking about Christ's life?
How do you confine a Christian that says the Son of Man? All right, give it to me in Ezekiel. I would probably start here, all right? Christians say that the Son of Man and the Son of God, I'm sorry, he said, is talking about who? Not doing what?
Calls out the Son of Man and the Son of God.
You can't get any one?
It's not talking about Christ.
See if we get some more. How many kids is over there? 3? All right. Bust that up with them. Clap it up, kids. Make them come on up and get it. Come on up and get the money, y'all. Come on up and get some cash. This little girl right here, whose baby is this? I saw her sitting in class with her hands in the Modern Shabbat. You think I didn't notice that? I saw you sitting very pretty and very wonderful. Good girl. Clap it up for her. She's a good girl. Look at a young brother. Look at him. Look at his brother here. He's strong too. Look like just like Imad. Go ahead. Good job, brother. Oh, look at the genius. This brother is super smart. This brother right here. Good job, Bob. Give me a pound. Bang, bang, bang. Give me a pound. Other hand. This hand. There you go. Good job. Bang. Good job, y'all. Clap it up. I got one more. You know what I'm gonna do here? I'm giving this to Madam, y'all. Come on, get this vibe, Madam, y'all. You got it coming, brother. You getting this. You need a ton more. You got to grab a drink on something on there. Put that on your drink. Go ahead, anything else? No, good job. You're welcome. I underbar. Good job. Don't sign Christ. Go ahead. Women out there, go work more overtime, all right? That's what got to happen. That's just it. I'm not stopping, and that's that. He had me here with a candy bowl. You should have said something you died about me bringing that candy bowl in here. You knew it wasn't right.
You give me anything, I'm gonna say the water.
Well, listen, give him a hand. He's a man of grace and sophistication. The water, you guys. These kids, though, they want some cash. Go ahead, Abon. Please. Mm-hmm. So this before your brother asked the question, how do I cut Christians that say that the Son of Man is talking about Jesus Christ, right? Was that his question, you died?
I believe so. The distinction between like the Son of Man, the Son of God, is not always talking about Christ.
Oh, okay. Then I would go for the Son of Man when I would go right here. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 1. And he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon thy feet.
So that's what you need right there. So this is the book of Ezekiel, the first verse, and it is the Most High saying that the Most High said to him, Son of man, stand on your feet. Ezekiel was also called a son of man because son of man is not a title. It's simply just saying he's a man. It's similar to today if I might say, hey, man, what's going on, man? Hey, how you doing, man? That's Israelite custom, Black and Hispanic custom. right? Or hombre, or in the Hispanic customs, or vato in Issachar. It means the same thing. It just means man. That's it. Son of man is man. And this is Ezekiel being called son of man right here. Now give me son of God in Romans 8:14, I believe.
I have Romans 1:4, sir.
Go ahead.
Romans chapter 1, verse 4. And declared to be the Son of God with power.
That's a good one, but let me give you a better one that's more concise. I think it's Romans 8. As many as obey the Spirit of God are the sons of God. That's the one I would go to, all right? That one is strong as well.
Book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 14. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God.
For as what?
Many.
For as many as are led by the Spirit of God. Go ahead.
They are the sons of God.
Spell sons.
S-O-N-S.
So Jesus Christ was not the only Son of God, because as many that obey the Spirit of God are sons of God. That term son of God did not mean that God had sex with Mary and made baby Jesus. The term son of God meant that he obeyed the Spirit of God. And anyone that does that can be a son of God. Everybody understands? The term Yashar Allah means son of God, prince of God, prince of the power. So that's the one. All right. You want to say something? You need the microphone up. Get the mic first. You die. Let me get some more questions after this. All right. John 3:16, another excellent one that Christians misunderstand in a major way. Go ahead.
This is from George Sanders. He said, Shalom, is it possible if I can get a breakdown of Revelation chapter 20 and verse 11 through 15 of what the great white throne is?
All right, go ahead.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 11. And I saw a great white throne, and he that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them.
Read above this a little taste, like 2 verses.
Of God. This is from Revelation 20 and verse 9. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and past the camp of the saints about in the beloved city. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. Verse 10. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are. It shall be it shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
Good job. Keep going.
Verse 11. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them.
Keep going.
Verse 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened.
The great white throne, and he that sat on the great white throne is speaking about the Most High God. That's who sits on the white throne, and that's who everybody runs from. The Most High God, that's the white throne in this vision. Everyone understands, all right? Go ahead. And white, in the Bible, white is signifying innocence. It's signifying righteousness, like pure, as opposed to red, which signifies blood, which signifies crime, like your hands are stained with blood. All right. White means that they've done nothing wrong, that they're righteous. It's a metaphor. It's the metaphor within this vision. Everybody understands. All right. Go ahead. Anything else? Bun?
So like, I had a question on the terrorists. Like in the kingdom of heaven, how would that sort of thing be handled? Obviously, we wouldn't.
Let me get that tariff video I sent you earlier. All right, the image, I believe it was. Please continue with your question.
We wouldn't be as unbrotherly as.
I'm sorry, one more thing. It's from the Wall Street Journal. A bun.
obviously we wouldn't extort each other or do things that are unbrotherly to each other, as I imagine terrorists would be like Judah,
Right.
terror on Issachar, or what have you.
Mhm.
But let's say someone else, a heathen nation, tries to put a tariff on us as a show of force, an attempt to go to war with us. How would that be handled? Would it be handled directly with violence directly, or just how would that be handled? My question.
Okay, meaning if you mean in the kingdom of heaven, we're doing business with another country like David would do.
Okay.
David had many business deals with Africans, Edomites everywhere. He did it. All of the gold that he had came from Africa, and the ivory came from Africa that he built his throne room with. So you're talking about that situation. And this country puts a tariff on us. Let me just try to explain to everyone what a tariff is, unless you would like to do it. It's up to you. Please.
It's tax on imported goods.
Exactly. Meaning, let's say I sell T-shirts. A lot of brothers in the school sell T-shirts, right? So I sell T-shirts. I sell T-shirts because I buy 10 T-shirts from China. I take those T-shirts and I write One West on it. That's how I sell T-shirts. The Chinese send me 10 T-shirts. I write One West on the T-shirt and I sell the T-shirt. Everybody gets that premise, right? Now, the Chinese charge me $5 a shirt. I pay the $5 and I charge you $10 a shirt. Everybody gets that, right? That way I can make my money. Or I charge you $20 a shirt so I could cover the cost of me writing One West on the shirt. But a tariff is this. Instead, the American government is saying, if you buy a shirt from China, there's going to be an extra $5 cost. So now my Chinese shirt costs $10 because there's the $5 the Chinese charge me and $5 that America charges me for buying a Chinese shirt. Everybody's with me? Is that correct? So now what do I charge the person now? I did charge them $10 or $20. Now I charge them $40 because it costs me more to have the shirt. So let me give you the premise of it. Governments do it because they don't want you to buy stuff from China. That's why they do it. So they charge you more if you get it from China. Because usually this is what happened. Because people have to pay more money to get it from China, they instead make shirts in America. So now factories pop up all over the country and they make shirts in America. The problem with America is that is never going to happen here, right? In another country, they would just have they would have factories that make their own shirts. But you'll never be able to make a shirt in America as cheap as they can make it in China because of all of the rules in America against minimum wage, child labor, all types of chemical and environmental rules. You can't just dump the dye in the river. In China, they dump the dye in the river. The person working there is 10 years old. You understand? They have rules that make it cheap. In America, you have EPA rules, child labor law, and minimum wage, which would mean you could never make that shirt in America. So, which is why the Wall Street Journal said that this is the most stupid trade war in history, because Americans are not going to start making T-shirts ever. So what's going to happen? They're going to still get the shirt from China. They're just going to pass the cost to you. So now, since they pay more for the shirt, when you go buy your shirts, they're going to cost $20. So that means the people will have to pay $40 for your shirts. I just tried to explain tariffs to you. That's what it is. Come on.
So I had a question too.
Mm-hmm.
Could this be the government trying to get sales tax and retail tax back from the corporations people are buying stuff from? Remember,
I'm sorry, but I'm good. You got to go. So I'm good.
I told you on the phone about the so-called illegal immigrants, and the amount of taxes they collect from them, they don't get back. Is this a way for them to also get some of those taxes back by essentially making us pay more in sales tax as well?
Well, let me tell you, America is doing it for Elon Musk in some way. I can't tell you in specific how this makes sense because it doesn't make any sense. And because it doesn't make any sense, it must profit one man. Donald Trump, when he became president, became 89% richer. Now, put that in your phones. Find the story. when I say became president, I mean election night. Election night when he won, he became then one of the richest men in the world because he got 89% richer than he already was once the ballots went in. So this somehow is going to make Donald Trump and Elon Musk and the people that wanted him to be president money. Now, it looks like the Democrats wanted him to be president too, because they went and ran on a platform of transgenders. So it looks like the Democrats also wanted it. They might get some money too. You get my point? So the reason we'll have to find out later who benefited. What's that in Latin? Who benefits? In Latin, who benefits is a quid pro quo. Pro quo, I believe, is who benefits. You can look it up. Pro quo, esto quo bueno. You look up what is who benefits in Latin, right? Whoever benefits, that's who did it. That's who wanted it. You'll have to wait to see who benefits from these tariffs. I could only guess it's Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Go ahead. No, I mean quid pro quo. And it's something quo. Just look up who benefits in Latin. That's the term, all right? Ready, Rob? Come on.
Quid pro quo means something for something or this for that.
Not that. No, I wanted, I'm sorry. That's the English translation. But what does who benefits mean in Latin? That's the translation of quid pro quo. Something, you give me something, I give you something. So there's some type of quid pro quo happening with Donald Trump and tariffs.
I got it. In Latin, who benefits is translated as qui bono.
Qui bono, that's it. Qui bono. So we'll have to find out qui bono in a second, and that will happen in a minute. You understand? So to get to your question about in the kingdom of heaven. In the kingdom of heaven, David had many products from other nations. Solomon, of course, had trade deals with the Queen of Sheba and other. So if a nation put a tariff on America, on Israel in the kingdom of heaven, I would have to hypothesize that we find another way to get it, because we will be the richest country on the planet Earth, and someone will want to have good relationships with us. Somehow it will happen. And of course, in our country, the men in charge won't be greedy pigs like the men in charge of America. Right? The men in charge in the kingdom of heaven will have to be men who care about the people. The men in America do not care about the people, so only the few will benefit from this trade war. In the kingdom of heaven, it won't be so. You understand? Good to go here? Anything else? Let me know when to go up, all right? Go ahead. Please. Do I have time? What time is it? 8:50. I should probably go up now, right? Good to go. All right. With that, let's go to pre-officer Mathumia. I'm sorry. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. You got nothing? Yes. Oh, yeah. You want to do it? You can do it. Yeah. Come on, water, sir.
Men of Israel, everybody online in the class. Men of Israel and daughters of Zion, I my judgments may stand. We're going to give one final salute to the sister Aqua Thamar out of D.C. Men of Israel, daughters of Zion, the Mount Shabbat. Hey, welcome! Barak! Yahweh Shamar out of town by Shimei Al-Shah. Yadimatah! Dismiss.
Rise again.